Hi, I'm Jen, and I borrowed a friend's camera. Death from Above, or, no, wait, hold on. Death from Above, 1979. Death from Above. Anyway, Death from Above is a band that I foolishly did not realize were... They added the 1979 again. Death from Above, 1979, maybe, perhaps, who knows, it might change by the time I upload this. They're a band that I foolishly didn't realize were one of those drum and bass combinations until I caught their set at a festival once. Incidentally, Royal Blood were playing on the next stage over right after they finished. It'd be difficult for me to put into words accurately why this band is so beloved by their fans. And even more so, it would be disingenuous because I didn't know about them until I was 12. That might sound like a reasonable time to be getting into a band, but I was 12 in 2011, and by then they had already broken up and reunited, which sort of shattered a bit of their cult status mystique from the late aughts. Maybe the best way to succinctly put it is this. They recently revealed that after breaking up in 2005, they did so in secret, so when they were approached to open for Daft Punk on their Alive 2007 tour, they had to turn down the opportunity, and nobody found out about it until now. If you're watching this video, you know this band already. You know what they sound like, and I can't really offer anything new in terms of their history that's not already been said. So let's just focus on the present time. After a relationship with Last Gang Records lasting a decade and a half, they've been picked up by Universal Music Canada, making them the first ever Saskcore adjacent band to get signed to a major label, and only the second to have a Nazi sympathy controversy. This fourth full-length is called Is For Lovers, or Death from Above, maybe 1979, Is For Lovers. Which, first of all, is not true. It's just two Canadian guys.
Are they lovers?
No.
Oh.
I mean, not of each other. Longtime fans of the band will be distraught to discover that they dropped the iconic elephant logo from the cover art this time around. Hey, wait a minute. So, how is it? It services. Wait, don't dislike the video, just give me a second to explain. I see Is For Lovers as being sort of caught in a conflict with itself. Several aspects surrounding this project signal a shift away from the rest of their career, but they never really seem to commit completely enough. The most surface-level example of this is, like how I mentioned, they got rid of the elephants on the cover, but for all the press materials and the promotional billboards and the merchandise for the album, still there. And like how, once again, they rebranded, but all that amounts to is reinstating 1979 at the end of their name. Not to mention, they changed over to a major label, but they were already pretty big to begin with. Obviously, I'm speaking metaphorically, and none of those things have any real bearing on the music, but I just think that it kind of represents the way that this album charts into new territory, but maybe going sideways a little bit, or overshooting the destination before the GPS has a chance to reroute. And actually, this makes a lot of sense, because for the first time since 2004, Jesse and Sebastian are doing their entire game on their own. Songwriting, recording, engineering, mastering, and the whole shebang, completely unsupervised. Is that a bad thing? After all, their debut was made under those circumstances, and it's indisputably a classic record. Well, the duo never explicitly said this record was split into two parts, but if you turn over from side A, which ends at New York City Power Elite Part 2, and over to side B, which starts with Totally Wiped Out, this transition sees a shift from those usual blistering, compression, and distortion-fueled bangers into that new territory that I was talking about. For example, Outrageous Now had two tracks with a piano on them, but this time there's a full-on piano ballad, and it's right in the middle of the track list. The synthesizers they've always loved to play around with a bit are in full swing on those tracks too. I definitely don't think any of this is bad by any means. There's nothing wrong with some mindless music to go yeah to. It definitely still bangs, it just does so insubstantially. Every time I listen to it, something just kind of felt missing, and I couldn't really put my finger on what that was until I read a recent interview with Sebastian. He said that for songwriting this time around, they employed the ethos of, quote, "If it's hard to play, it might be hard to listen to. Disregarding how that's an insult to most of my favorite records. Strictly speaking, if you're writing hooks, that's not a really bad way to approach it. Not inherently, at least. Hell, any elementary school kid in the keyboard section of a Guitar Center could fuck around for a couple minutes and tap out Blinding Lights, but that's still one of the best pop songs in recent memory. The issue comes across more in how they've interpreted this advice to mean simplify everything. Which in turn oversimplifies the advice to a fault. I'm not getting the grooves out of this. My ears are annihilated, and my brain is covered in TV static, but at the end of the day, I'm missing the dance in my dance punk. Within that same interview, he claimed that they actually scrapped songs and ideas that were too developed. Part of me can't help but wonder if maybe some of those made it off the cutting room floor. I would have had more motivation to shake my ass a little bit. Lyrically, I'll commend it for sticking to a theme, at least. It's a concept record in the loose sense that every song is about, love. I don't think anybody really comes to Death From Above records, Death From Above 1979 records, for the lyrics anyway. They've never been much to write home about. The difference between having complete control now and 17 years ago is that back then, they didn't know what they were doing at all. Not only were they kind of making it up on the spot, but every piece of equipment they used was what they had within reach. They caught lightning in a bottle on You're a Woman, I'm a Machine entirely by accident. But now that they have the backing of a major label and years of experience, and every resource at their disposal, maybe it's the tyranny of choice, but things just don't line up like they should. I guess we can't all be unwound. There is a silver lining to this criticism, though. As a band that made most of their career with a little bit of oversight and not boasting complete control over the project, they're sort of like sheltered kids who were raised in an environment without any drugs or alcohol, and when their strict parents sent them away to college, they lost their shit and had to get their stomach pumped. If you went to college with somebody like that and you're still friends with them, then congratulations. The next album's probably going to be better. I'm pretty optimistic that they're going to find the sweet spot, and this is sort of a transitional record in terms of the way they're developing their sound. And honestly, I'm excited that they're still working on new sounds. Nothing about this record screams to me that this is a cash grab or that they were doing it just to fulfill a contractual obligation. It really genuinely sounds like they were excited to do it. I just think they missed the mark a little bit. So that's why, even if I'm not overly crazy about this record, I'm still really excited for the next one. I do feel kind of bad saying it because it's not unenjoyable, it's just probably my least favorite of their records so far. But I have to assign this one a 2 out of 3. So what about you? Am I speaking the truth? Did I miss the mark completely? Leave a comment and let me know what you thought of the record and why I'm a terrible person.
I don't care if you disagree with me, just don't make fun of me for being transgender.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make more of these videos. I hope I can, but I have to take the MCAT soon, and I'm going to have to prioritize becoming a doctor over this. Social media there. Podcast there. Until next time, I'm Jen, and this is Listening to Decay.